Hey there, J3 here, and welcome! It's great to have you here in the 5 Pillars of Wealth online seminar series. In this seminar, you'll learn about the 5 essential concepts needed for anyone to become wealthy. I'm very excited to get started, but first, I'd like to say congratulations, because you have decided to take responsibility for your financial education. And that is indeed the first step to financial progress. Now, in this seminar, we will comprehensively discuss the 5 pillars of wealth. It is absolutely vital that you get a good grasp of each pillar so you can build a solid foundation for your wealth. So I've broken down the whole seminar into 3 separate videos. This is so that you can take the time to fully understand, absorb, and apply the lessons for each pillar. In this video, you'll learn about pillars number 1 and 2. In video number 2, we'll take on pillars 3 and 4. And in the third video, you'll learn about pillar number 5. So these next videos will be sent to your email over the course of this week. So be sure to watch out for them. With that said, let's get started. The first pillar of wealth is money is important. This is pretty basic, di ba? And so, a common reaction here is to say, J3, alam ko na yan. I already know that. Money is important because we use our money to buy food and pay the bills. You also need money for things like gas and entertainment. Alam kong importante ang pera, kaya nga ako nagtatrabaho mahigit 8 oras sa isang araw eh. What's new? Well, actually, here's the reality. Many people know that money is important, but they also believe that money isn't that important. That's why we have popular sayings like, money can't buy happiness, and there's more to life than money, diba? And when you are asked, which is more important, what will you answer? Family or money? Family! Money or God? God, syempre! Love or money? It's definitely love. If this is the case, then it seems like money is the least important of all. Kapag kinumpara na ang pera sa ibang aspeto ng buhay, biglang hindi na importante ang pera. This is what needs to be clarified in this pillar. I will answer just how important is money, not by itself, but when it is compared to other aspects of life. Ano ba talaga ang lugar ng pera sa buhay ng tao? Here's the answer. Money is just a tool. A thing that you and I use to get certain things out of life. And money being only a tool, there are situations when it's super useful and there are situations when it is totally useless. May panahon na may saysay ang pera at may mga panahon na wala itong kwenta. That's how tools work. So, for example, a hammer, isang martilyo. A hammer is very useful if you want to put on nails. But if you want to cut wood, a hammer is totally useless. Kahit ilang oras ka pa magpupukpok, hindi mo mapuputol yung kahoy. It's because you are using the tool for the wrong purpose. Now, we know that if you want to cut a piece of wood, you need a saw, isang lagaret. But can you really say that a hammer is more important than a saw? Of course not, because both tools have different uses, and so both are important. This should be our same approach when it comes to money. Money is useful for buying food, shelter, and our other needs and wants. But it's totally useless in other situations. Money can't give you peace of mind. It can't give you fulfillment. It can't give you love. But at the same time, you can't say that love is more important because love can't buy you food. Love can't pay for your electricity bills. Subukan mo lang magbayad ng kuryente gamit ang pag-ibig, Write a letter saying, Dear Meralco, mahal na mahal kita. Ikaw talaga ang tanging nagbibigay liwanag sa aking buhay. Ikaw lang noon, ngayon at magpakailanman. Umiibig sa'yo. Subscriber account number 143 143 143. If you do that, you won't get free electricity. You'll get a disconnection notice. So, the next time you're asked, which is more important? Love or money? God or money? Family or money? Simply answer both. Both are important. You don't have to choose one over the other because both are important. Let's take a look at our OFWs, our modern day bayanis. OFWs are people who truly love their family, and they love their family very much that they are willing to go off alone into another country to earn more money so that they could provide them with a better life. But Can you say to them that money was more important? Hindi, no? Because the reason why they wanted more money in the first place is because they wanted to give more to their family. Love is important, family is important, and money is important. Now, at this point, you might be already thinking, okay, so what if money is important? Ano ngayon? What's the big deal? This brings us to the complete version of pillar number 1. Money is important, therefore, it should be studied. Ang pera ay importante, kaya ito ay dapat pag-aralan. If something is really important, you spend time with it. You understand it. You continually learn about it. Think of an important person in your life right now. What are this person's likes and dislikes? What is his or her personality? I'm sure you'll be able to say a lot about that person. Why? Because you've spent a lot of time with them. And now, you already know that money is important, so you also have to spend time understanding it. With this, I have to ask you these questions. How much time have you really spent learning about money? How much do you really know about money? I ask you this because your financial situation is a result of the things you know and the things you don't know about money. Your financial problems, struggles, and worries are a result of bad money decisions. And why do we make bad money decisions in the first place? Because of the things we don't know about money. On the other hand, your financial success, financial security, and financial freedom is caused by good money decisions. And what is the root of good money decisions? It is caused by the things you know about money. Am I making sense here? Tama naman, di ba? Now, unfortunately, ang karamihan ng tao only know of the endless cycle of working, earning, and spending money. Trabaho, kita, gastos. Trabaho, kita, gastos. Trabaho, kita, gastos. Rinse and repeat. And as a result, they live on paycheck to paycheck. They have been working hard for several years already and yet have nothing to show for it. No savings, walang naipundar. And they are always burdened about the future. A little part of them is always uncertain about change. What if matanggal sa trabaho? What if magkasakit? What if ganito? What if ganyan? Walang plano. There is no sense of security. Why? Because they know very little about money. So, what I'm going to do now is show you a mind map, a diagram that will just reveal to you how big the world of money really is. And I'm going to go a bit fast here, but there's no need to take down notes. Just take this in as it is. Appreciate the things you do know about, and maybe seek out the things that you don't understand. With that, let's begin. Okay, so welcome to the world of money. Now, it's very, very huge, but I just classified it into 6 categories. Okay, there's earning money, spending money, protecting money, borrowing money, transferring money, and then you have all of these regulations and government institutions. Now, let's enter the world of earning money. Well, there's active income, and under that you have employed and self-employed. Under employed, you could be permanent, contractual, project-based. When you're self-employed, you could be project-based, commission-based, or, it's a small business that you have to actively manage. Then you also have network marketing. And aside from active income, you have passive income. And this is where investing comes in. And you can invest in paper assets. These are your money market funds, time deposits, bonds, equities, mutual funds, UITFs, etc. Then you have real estate, and you can make money in real estate by flipping rentals, construction and development, foreclosures, and then you have the commodities, which are your precious metals, and then you have foreign exchange. Now, in businesses, you have your brick and mortar, you have franchising, you have your online, you have network marketing, and so many more. So that's it for earning money. Now you have the world of spending money. So you have basic budgeting, automatic salary deductions, the money jar system of saving. That's an excellent system, by the way. Basic accounting. You have to know your cash flow and statement of assets and liabilities and net worth. So these tools basically tell you where you are financially. Now you also have pre-need plans, educational plans, pension plans, and others. Then you have healthcare, wherein you have your HMOs, PhilHealth, critical illness riders for insurance, and many more. We go to protecting money. So here it's all about insurance. So life insurance, you have term, whole, endowments, and cash values, etc., the VULs, participating, non-participating, and then you have non-life insurance where you have the automobile, home, and others. Then you need to understand the general concepts of premiums, coverage, risk and perils, and the riders. Now, let's go to borrowing money. Okay, so first, where can you borrow money? Personal loans, cash advances, bank loans, credit cards, how do they work? So basically, you need to understand the concepts behind borrowing money, risk and return, effective interest rates, effects of compounding, the amortization, and the penalties. Then there's one huge category of how to get out of debt, how to deal with collection agencies, negotiations, and debt consolidation. Then we have transferring money. This is all about estate planning. Who gets what? Writing of wills, estate taxes, tools for transfer. These are your wills, donations, incorporation, trusts, and also life insurance. Now, we have the government organizations, which is your Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, SSS and GSIS, SEC, DTI, the Insurance Commission, BIR, and so many more. We've covered a lot. And putting it all together, this is the world of money. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't. Again, just appreciate the things you do know, and maybe, just maybe, in the future, seek out the things you don't know. This is the main point of pillar number 1. If you truly acknowledge that money is important, you will dedicate time to study and understand how money works. Even spend money so you can learn more about money. And I want you to really think about the next line I'm going to say, because it's very, very important. If you ignore the importance of money, you'll become a slave of it. But if you study and understand it, you become its master. Kung ang pera ay hindi mo bibigyan ng pansin, ikaw ay magiging alipin ng pera. Pero kung ito ay iyong bigyan ng oras at pag-aralan, ikaw ang magiging pinuno ng pera. With that, I want you to say the following line with me. Kahit nanonood ka lang sa harap ng computer at wala ka naman sa isang live seminar, sabihin mo pa rin itong linya na to. If there are people around you and nakakahiya magsalita, then think it aloud in your mind. The line is, money is important, therefore I will study it. Let's say it again one more time. Money is important, therefore I will study it. One more time. Money is important, therefore I will study it. Now, this concludes our discussion on pillar number 1. And we have to go to pillar number 2, because even if people know that money is important, many people, and maybe including you, still have an icky feeling when it comes to studying money. There's a feeling that to aspire to become wealthy is also to become selfish, greedy, corrupt, materialistic, and evil. So many people are ashamed to study and talk about money. This conflict creates a huge obstacle to wealth, because if you believe that money is bad, then you'll stay away from money. Kung tingin mo nakakasama ang isang bagay, malamang lalayo ka dito. This is what pillar number 2 solves. Pillar number 2 is, money can be good or bad depending on the one using it. Remember, money is just a tool, and just like any other tool, it depends on the person whether the tool will be used to do good or bad. For example, a gun. Okay, we know it can be used for evil when you threaten, harass, and murder others. But it also has its good uses like protection, security, and maintaining peace and order. On the other hand, a fluffy, wuffy teddy bear, which is really harmless and is mostly used for good, like making children happy, can still be used for evil. An evil person can use a teddy bear to suffocate and kill. We must always remember that good and evil can't be assigned to objects. Good and evil can only be used to describe people. So we should begin to think of money as an extension of who you are as a person. If you are a good person, then you'll be using money to create good. If you're an evil person, which I really hope you're not, then you're going to use money for evil purposes. I personally truly believe that you're a good person, and I know you know that about yourself. So you shouldn't be afraid of learning about money, because you will use it to do good, to help yourself and those around you. Okay? So let's move forward. There are 3 sources that make us believe that money is evil. we need to talk about how to deal with these three sources because they actually prevent us from wanting to become wealthy. Remember, if you believe that money is bad, then you'll stay away from it. So we have to discuss each source in order to cleanse and purify your beliefs about money. That way, you can be more open and at peace with learning about money, understanding money, earning money, and receiving money, and managing money, and ultimately becoming wealthy. So number one of the sources that make us believe that money is evil, the rich and evil people. Here are your scammers, corrupt official, tax evading and immoral businessmen, etc., etc. We often hear about them in the news and nakakainis, nakaka-high blood, and nakaka-depress malaman na may mga taong ganun. And whenever we see people like them, it makes us say things like, okay nang mahirap, at least may prinsipyo. Okay nang di malaki ang kinikita, at least hindi ako magnanakaw. Okay nang simple ang buhay, at least walang tinatapakan na iba. Saying these things creates a huge problem because yes, it's not okay to be corrupt, but it's also not okay to be poor. Ang hirap kayang maging mahirap. At ang simpleng buhay ay hindi simple pag dumating na ang bagyo, ang sakit, at iba pang mga komplikadong bagay sa mundo. So the proper way to deal with the filthy rich is still to aspire to become wealthy but not follow them in their immoral, illegal, and unethical ways. Don't let their bad examples stop you from aspiring to become wealthy. Instead, be a part of the wealthy and the generous, the rich and loving group of people. Be the example that you want to see in the world. Okay, now let's go to the next group that says money equals evil. That group would be the media and entertainment industry. In movies, the contrabidas are most of the time the rich and powerful. In telenovelas and teleseries, there's always that rich person preventing the love team from getting together. Similarly, we hear stories being retold over and over again about families fighting about money and fighting about huge inheritances. And watching these stories over and over again, pag-uusapan at uulit-ulitin, the idea of money being evil is reinforced. Tumatatak ngayon sa isip ng marami, ay, oo nga, masama nga talagang yumaman. The sad consequence of this is that you end up with a distorted sense of reality. Again, it makes us want to believe that money is evil. But money can't be good or evil, it's just a tool. So whenever you watch a story wherein the rich are portrayed as the contrabida, remember that it's just entertainment and not reality. Just imagine if the hero of the story had it all. Mayaman na, gwapo pa, maganda pa pamilya, mabait pa at may sense of humor. E di corny na yung kwento kasi perfect na siya. Walang thrill, walang suspense, walang excitement kasi Superman yung bida. At the same time, if the kontrabida was made to be a weakling, masama siya, tapos mahirap pa, tapos mahina rin, tapos pangit pa, walang kwentang kalaban yun. Boring din. For entertainment to be entertainment, there has to be conflict. There always has to be two sides. So, if a character is rich, he has to have a weakness. He has to have a bad family or a bad attitude. And if a character is poor, then he has to have redeeming qualities like having a good heart, he has to have a very supportive family, and he has to get the leading lady. That is entertainment. This is what we have to remember when watching these stories. It's not reality, but only entertainment. So, okay ba tayo so far? We're almost at the end of the video. We just have to discuss this last group. And this last group that makes it seem money is evil is the church. Okay, medyo controversial ito, so listen in. Ever since, the church has always promoted a healthy spiritual life. And in doing that, many priests have attacked materialism and wealth. They cite Bible verses like Matthew chapter 6 verse 24, "No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." Ayun. Or 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." Then you also have Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 10. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with his income. This too is meaningless. All of these Bible verses are full of wisdom. But remember that we have to take them into context and see the bigger picture. Because actually, the Bible mentions money, wealth, and finance more than it talks about prayer, healing, and mercy. Talaga? Money is mentioned in the Bible over 800 times, while prayer and the word pray is mentioned only about 500 times. Mercy is mentioned about 250 times, and healing is mentioned only about 50 times. God knew that money would be a very important part of man's life, so he talked about it a lot. I don't mean to be preachy here, but here are some more verses which show you how money is really important. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 10. Divide your portion to 7 or even to 8, for you do not know what misfortune may occur on the earth. This verse is about saving money and preparing for tough times and building your emergency fund. In Matthew chapter 22 verse 21, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's and to God the things that are God's. This verse is about paying the right amount of taxes. In Proverbs chapter 12 verse 11, he who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who pursues worthless things lacks sense. This is about how hard and productive work will lead to financial abundance, and so many other verses and stories about money. If you ask me, the Bible is a great source of financial advice, and we all have to realize that not learning about money in order to go to heaven doesn't make you holy. It only makes you ignorant. Another way of saying that is, learning about money won't make you less holy. Because by understanding money, you enslave it. You rise above it. So you can love God without worrying about money. If you're one of the people who deeply believe that being wealthy will prevent you from reaching heaven, then I'd like to introduce you to one of my favorite people in the world. He is my role model and mentor, and he has such a good balance of money and spirituality. His name is Brother Bo Sanchez, and he is a spiritual leader, preacher, and author and motivational speaker, but at the same time, he is an entrepreneur, a business coach, and financial advisor. Now, some people critique him for mixing money and God, but that's the reason why I love this guy. He gives you practical answers to life's problems. He solves spiritual problems with spiritual solutions. But if you come to him with a financial problem, he won't tell you to just pray to God and say, God will provide. He'll give you financial solutions as well. He will tell you to pray to God, then pay your debts, then build an emergency fund, then get insurance, then invest in the stock market. Then thank God for helping you achieve all of those. One of his quotes that I absolutely agree with is the following: the ultimate purpose of wealth is to bless others. Bo Sanchez is a holy man, and so to him, his money is used for a holy purpose. His money goes to a lot of his charities. And with that, we end our discussion on pillar number 2 and this first training video as well. So very quickly, let's have a recap of the lessons. Lesson number 1, money is important, so it should be studied. Your financial status is a result of the things you know and the things you don't know. So, if you want to improve your financial life, study money. Lesson number 2, don't be afraid to study money because money is just a tool. It doesn't matter what others do with their money. What matters is what you will do with yours. And because you're a good person, you will be using money to do good as well. So don't be afraid to study money. Okay? So that's everything for this first training video. Thank you very much for watching. I truly hope that you have learned a lot. Our next training video will be sent to your email within the week, so watch out for it. Then, one last thing, I'd love to hear what you think of this video. So you can just click on the like button below and share your thoughts, comments, and questions there. Babasahin ko lahat yan. I'll be reading and responding to them personally. So I look forward to seeing you again in a couple of days. Until then, always remember, money is important. Study it so you can become its master.